Welcome to next lecture. This is Professor T. Freed Muhammad. We will be discussing collecting, seizing, and protecting evidence. The outline, the proper approach to collecting, seizing, and protecting evidence. The key concepts are proper forensic procedure, evidence handling, storage formats, forensically imaging a drive, and RAID acquisitions. Proper procedure overview, shutting down the computer appropriately, as discussed earlier, transporting the computer to a secure location, preparing a system, documenting the hardware configuration of the system, mathematically authenticating the data on all storage devices. Before you shut down the computer, check for running processes in Windows. Use the task manager and take a snapshot, take the picture of the screen so you have the record of running processes. Photos are subject to the rules of the chain of custody for evidence. Check for live connections to the system, netstat, net sessions, open files, critical to run. Windows 10 running processes are pretty much same for the Windows 11, as if you see the task manager, you would see the screen. Using netstat would give you the network statistics, and that's how you will type the netstat as a command in the command window. That will show you the transmission control protocol and the foreign addresses which are coming in into your desktop or laptop. Using net sessions, and net sessions means you will type a command net space sessions. There are no entries in the list, and it'll give you the system32 or your computer's current sessions which are active. Using profiles, you would go and you'll look at open files, and that's where you will figure out that if there are any files open in your system. Capturing memory with OS forensics, and that is the operating system forensics, and that will allow you to look at dump physical memory and save crash dump as well on your for your forensics study. The key evidence in your possession or control at all the times need to be transported appropriately. Document movement of evidence between investigators. Secure evidence appropriately so it cannot be tampered with or captured. Lock in a vehicle or drive the vehicle directly to the lab. Preparing the system. For suspect computers, remove the drives. For mobile devices, remove SIM card if necessary. Some devices let you dock the phone to examine it without removing the SIM. For all C system and devices, create an evidence form or chain of custody form. Sample police department chain of custody form is like that. You can see that there is an owner and an address. OS forensics chain of custody form comes handy, and you can see that there's a chain of custody tab available. Before dismantling the computer, take picture of the computer from all angles, label each wire so that you can reconnect each one, record basic input output system or BIOS and or UEFI information such as date and time in the chain of custody form. After restoring power, eject or removable media and fill out a chain of custody form for each. After imaging the drive, create a hash of the original and the copy. Compare the hashes. If they do not match exactly, something was altered. Document hashing algorithm used and results. Digital forensics specialist is responsible for finding, preserving, and preparing evidence. The specialist must collect the data, document file names, dates, and times, identify a file, program, or storage anomalies, and gather evidence. This is a hypothetical scenario. In a town of Meadowgrave, like Margrave in Lee Child's Jack Reacher's novel, Killing Floor, I think is the name. The local credit union, Greenleaf Credit Union, was the target of sophisticated cyber attack. The institution's IT manager, let's say named Alex, discovered the breach early on a Monday morning. Several member accounts showed unauthorized transactions, and some of the credit union's internal systems were sluggish and unresponsive. Alex immediately suspected a potential hack and initiated a credit union's incident response plan. The first step was to contain the breach by isolating affected systems and preserving any potential evidence. Alex took the compromised servers offline but ensured that their states were preserved for further analysis. Next, Alex contacted the credit union CEO, let's say her name was Megan, and the local authorities to report the incident. Recognizing the severity of the situation, Megan approved the engagement of the specialized computer forensics firms, let's say the name is CyberGuard, for example, to handle the investigation. The CyberGuard team arrived on site within hours, equipped with advanced forensic tools and extensive experience. They began by creating bit by bit copies of the affected servers, hard drives, ensuring that the original evidence remained untouched. This step is crucial in computer forensics as it preserves the integrity of the evidence and prevents inadvertent modifications, as discussed in the previous lecture. The CyberGuard team then proceeded with a meticulous analysis of the copied data. They utilized various forensic tools to examine system logs, registry entries, and network traffic patterns. Their goal was to identify the point of entry, the extent of the compromise, and any data exfiltration attempts. The investigators discovered that the attackers had exploited a vulnerability in the credit union's outdated software to gain initial access. From there, they moved laterally within the network, escalating privileges and eventually accessing sensitive member data. The team documented each step of their investigation, maintaining a clear chain of custody for all evidence collected. As the evidence progressed, CyberGuard worked closely with the Greenleaf's IT department to remediate the vulnerabilities and strengthen the credit union's cyber defenses. The patched, they patched the exploited software, enhanced network segmentation, and implemented advanced threat detection system. Additionally, they provided recommendations for improving the credit union's overall security posture, including regular security awareness training for employees and the adoption of multi-factor authentication. In the final phase of investigation, CyberGuard prepared a comprehensive report detailing their findings, the evidence collected, and the remediation steps taken. The report was presented to Greenleaf's management, the board of directors, and the local authorities. With the evidence gathered, law enforcement could initiate a criminal investigation to identify and prosecute the perpetrators. Meanwhile, Greenleaf Credit Union focused on rebuilding trust with its members, assuring them that their data was now secure and that the institution was committed to protecting their financial interests. The credit union emerged from the incident stronger and more resilient, with a renewed focus on cybersecurity and robust plan in place to handle any future threats. So hopefully this has given you an understanding that how it works, the planning into action, collecting the data. Three primary types of data that a forensic investigator must collect in this order: volatile data, temporary data, persistent data. Examples of volatile data: swap file, state of network connection, and state of running processes. Documenting file names, dates, and times. As mentioned earlier in the scenario, file names, creation dates, and last modified dates and times can be relevant as evidence. Catalog all allocated and erased files. Sort files based on file name, file size, file content, creation date, and last modified date and time. Sorting provides a timeline of computer usage. Output should be in a word processing compatible file. Identifying file, program, and storage anomalies. Encrypted, compressed, and graphics files store data in binary format. Text search programs cannot identify text data stored in a binary format. They require manual evaluation. Evaluate hidden partitions for evidence and document their existence in Windows. Also evaluate files in the recycle bin. The more information you document about evidence is the better. Evidence gathering measures. Avoid changing evidence. Determine when evidence was created. Search throughout a device. Determine information about encrypted and stagnized files. Present the evidence well. What to examine? Live analysis regarding any ongoing networking process. Physical analysis, making a physical copy of the disk bit by bit copy as mentioned earlier. The swap file, a scratch pad to write data when additional RAM or random access memory is needed. Contains remnants of word processing documents, emails, internet browsing activity, database entries, other work that occurred during past Windows sessions. Unallocated free space cleaned with sweepers and or scrubbers. Logical analysis use the target system's file system to copy data to an image for analysis. Can miss deleted files, files no longer in the file system but on the drive, and the similar data. So physical analysis and logical analysis are significantly important. Creating a timeline to reconstruct events that led to corruption of the system. Create a timeline. Challenges with computers: never change the clock on the suspect system. Record clock drift and time zone in use. It can be Central Time, Pacific Time, or Eastern Time. Putting things in order gives one a clear view of activities and an understanding of the crime. So the storage formats can be magnetic media, solid state drives, digital audio tapes, drives, digital linear tape, or super DLT, optical media using USB drives, and the list can go further. Magnetic media, hard drives and floppy drives are types of magnetic media. Any susceptible to magnetic interference have moving parts in them are susceptible to physical damage. Solid state drives use microchips which retain data in non-volatile memory chips, contain no moving parts. Most use negated AND or NAND gate based flash memory which retains memory even without power, are usually less susceptible to physical damage than magnetic drives. Have become the standard for many internal drives and for all external drives. Generally require 1/2 to 1/3 the power of hard disk drives. Startup time for SSDs is usually much faster than the magnetic storage device, or drives are often used in tablets and in some laptops. If SSD is internal, can use the same interface as magnetic drives, including SCSI, SCSI, and SATA if connected externally using USB. Magnetic media and solid state drives host protected area HPA or vendor specific drive space, master boot record or MBR, where empty drive sectors remain. Volume slack, unallocated space, good blocks marked as bad, file slack. I suggest you to conduct a little research on this for more understanding establishment for you. File formats, advanced forensic format, Ncase, generic forensics, zip or gfzip, providing secure transactions with consumers. Forensic imaging, the forensically wipe the drive with a DD if, and then this goes on. I would suggest you do not try that on your local device, because otherwise you will be losing access to your entire laptop. So study this thing and use a dummy laptop which is available, or desktop which you might never use again, because you will be actually wiping everything out of that. Anything if goes down south. Ncase add device window. This will allow you to add the devices that you're going to work with to conduct the forensics work. Ncase after acquisition dialog box allows you to finish the details. Imager creates image options, so you can create a disk image. You reach and you finish the physical drive image on wherever you're trying to make this image to. FTK Imager verify image options allows you to run the hash on the backend to figure out if both are equal. Let me share with you a use case that had been in the news. However, I'll be changing everything, all the city names and the business and anyone attached to that. So everything is anonymized. So in a city of Tech Haven, for example, a popular e-commerce store, Gadget World, fell victim to a sudden and crippling cyber attack. The store's website became inaccessible and customer complaints about unauthorized orders flooded the support lines. The company's IT security specialist, Jamie, is a anonymized name, swiftly realized that they were dealing with a potential data breach. To understand the extent of compromise and gather evidence, Jamie decided to employ Access Data's Forensic Toolkit, or FTK, a powerful digital forensic software. The first crucial step was to create a precise image of the affected servers to preserve the evidence and prevent any further tampering. Jamie's initiated FTK's imaging process, which created bit by bit copies of the server's hard drives. This method ensured that every piece of data, including hidden files and unallocated space, was captured accurately. The imaging process was conducted meticulously, with Jamie documenting each step to maintain a clear chain of custody. This detailed record keeping is essential in digital forensics, as it ensures the integrity and admissibility of the evidence in potential legal proceedings. Once the imaging was complete, Jamie securely stored the original drives and began analyzing the copies using FTK's advanced forensic tools. With the server images in hand, Jamie utilized FTK's comprehensive suite of analysis tools to dissect the data. The software's indexing and search capabilities allowed Jamie to quickly identify malicious files and suspicious activities. Log files revealed that the attackers had exploited a vulnerability in the e-commerce platform to inject malicious code, which then harvested customer data and initiated fraudulent orders. FTK's timeline analysis helped Jamie reconstruct the sequence of events, pinpointing the initial intrusion and tracking the attacker's movements within the network. Armed with this evidence, Gadget World could take informed steps to remediate the vulnerabilities, notify affected customers, and collaborate with law enforcement to pursue the perpetrators. The use of FTK proved invaluable in swiftly and accurately unraveling the details of the breach, enabling Gadget World to respond effectively and minimize the impact on its customers and reputation. Imaging of with OS forensics. This also gives you pretty much the similar way as FTK provides you the dashboard, and it also makes drive images by giving you the options. So, proper forensic procedures, we must know all that, how to deal with them. Evidence handling, as discussed earlier. Storage formats, forensically imaging a drive, and RAID acquisitions are the main areas that I suggest you to conduct a little bit in more depth study that will allow you to go and learn to apply all these methodologies that we have discussed in quite depth. So once again, let me list some proper forensics procedures for you to ponder upon. There can be several proper forensic procedures. Let me discuss few. Preservation of the scene is number one. Documentation is number two. Evidence collection is number three. Chain of custody is number four. Imaging, hashing, isolation. Isolation means disconnecting affected systems from the network to prevent further compromise and contain the incident. Volatile data correction, that means capture and preserve volatile data such as RAM contents or random access memory contents and running processes which can be lost upon system shutdown. Timeline analysis, evidence analysis, evidence handling, validation of tools, that means ensure that forensic tools are used are reliable, tested and validated to produce accurate and reputable results. Reporting, peer review, have findings and reports reviewed by peers or independent experts to ensure accuracy, objectivity, and adherence to forensic standards. Evidence retention, and the last not the least is legal compliance. Adhere to legal and regulatory requirements such as search warrants, data privacy laws, and evidence admissibility rules throughout the forensics process. These procedures are essential for conducting thorough, accurate, and legally sound digital forensic investigation. See you in the next lecture.